She told me.
She told you exactly what you needed to hear.
That's all.
Neo, sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
Now, Trinity. Morpheus. The Oracle. She told me.
She told you exactly what you needed to hear.
That's all.
Neo, sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
Now, Trinity. Morpheus. The Oracle. She told me.
She told you exactly what you needed to hear.
That's all.
Neo, sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
All right. Shalom Akim. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all the praises, honor, and the glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and unto the elders of Great Millstone, GMS, who taught me this truth. Honors to the brethren in the Akim that has been pushing out this truth with all sincerity and in faith. And to Wadi Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for allowing me to come back with another lesson. And the title of this lesson is going to be, as you brothers can see, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. And that's the thing in this truth is, we know the path. When we first came into the realization of who we are and what our purpose is, our sole purpose of being here on this earth is and was, is to walk the path, to walk this path, and the path is going through the straight gate, where when you look up that word straight in that verse in the book of Matthew 7 and 13, if I'm not mistaken, the word straight is a position of difficulty, and you can know the path, you can know it all day long, but there's a difference when you walk the path. Okay, because, like in this truth, knowing and doing are two totally different concepts. They're not the same, and knowing is passive and doing is active. And walking the path, this path, going through the straight gate, allows us to grow by facing all the adversity, all the trials, all the tribulation, all the anguish, all the sorrow, all the challenges and the struggles along the way, and these things in which we go through in this path, in this fight that we fight, it makes us stronger. It helps us grow in the spirit, okay? And there will be times where you walk this path, right? You walk the path. You're gonna go through things. You're gonna hit certain, you're gonna hit what it would feel like rock bottom almost, but it's not, and we just gotta know in this truth, although there is there's joy, there's gladness and delight and light in this truth, we also gotta remember the balance. This truth, the truth is this truth, and being in the truth, it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows all the time. We will have our ups, we will have our downs, and this sometimes in this path, it could get really bumpy, it could get really rough, it could be very mean and nasty and a very dark place, and it doesn't matter how tough you are, how tough you think you are, it will hit you down to the ground, man, and it will keep you there permanently if you let it, and that's why, they got that saying, when the going get tough, the tough get going, because the Heavenly Father, the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, has chosen us to walk this fight, to walk the path, to fight the fight. As it says in the book of James or First John, I have chosen you young men because you are strong, and knowing the path and walking this path, we got to be willing to take the hits along the way, and to strive for the truth unto the death, so that our power could fight for us. All right. Now, through the Spirit, I'm gonna grab the book of Matthew. So bear with me 1 second. This is this is the book of Matthew. Salakia is loading. Matthew 7:13. And it says, Matthew 7:13. And it says, enter ye in at the straight gate. Now that word straight is spelled Strait. Okay. And when you look up that word, right? It goes into the definition of narrow, straight. You see, a position of difficulty. All right, and this is the path in which we walk. And this is what we must always keep in mind. Okay. And it says, enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go in threat. See, but we gotta enter to that straight gate, man. You know how people be like, you say this, like a GPS, right? People be like, hey, man, just look up the directions. You might follow the directions for a little bit, and then eventually, if a person is not patient, they'll try to take the easy way out. Let's try to take the shortcut. There's no shortcuts in this truth, man. You gotta do it the right way. You gotta go through everything, all the paths, all the stops, all the turns, all the roundabouts. We have to go through all that. And then it's going through it. It makes us strong. And even David, he even spoke of walking through the valley of the shadow of death, and that also goes along with walking this path, because that's what we walk through. And when David spoke of the valley of the shadow of death, he was speaking of this place known as America. Okay. And it says here, this is the book of Psalms, 23:1, a psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters, meaning this truth. Okay? And it says, he restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. And going through that path of righteousness, it ain't gonna be easy, man. We look at, even with David, he had a tough path to go through. Our Lord Yahushua, the disciples who later became apostles, and all the prophets, their path yet it led to righteousness. It was difficult to get through the path, to get through that straight, to get through the narrow. But then that's when you cleave unto the Most High and you depart not away, so that thou mightest be increased at thy last end. Verse 4, and it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And that's right. And these words, this book, this collection of books from which we have, that is in our possession, this is what comforts us. This is what keeps us going. This is what drives us, what thrives us. is these words, because these words are quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, man. Verse 5, thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. And that's what we want. Verse 6, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will deliver, it says, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. See? And that's what we want to do. But in order for us to dwell into that house of the Lord forever, we must go through the straight gate. You know, the scriptures talk about this is the book of Acts 14 and 22, and it says Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Heavenly Father. You see that? So we must go through much tribulation in order to enter into that kingdom. We have to go through that straight gate. We have to not only just know the path, but walk it. You know, we have to keep both of those in mind. There's a difference between walking it and knowing it and walking it. You know, you can walk it, you can know it all you want, but once you walk it, man, you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared to take the punches. You have to be prepared for everything and anything. You know, and that's where it comes in of you being a good soldier for Hamashiach Yahushua. You know, and through whatever you got to go through, always keep in mind that, like Paul said, he said, was that Acts, or no, I'm sorry, 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, and we'll start at the 10th verse, and it says, neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer. Now all these things happen unto them for examples, and they are written for our admiration, upon whom the ends of the world are come. Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. There it said, there hath no temptation taken you, but such be as common to man. But the Heavenly Father is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that which you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. You see that? And we got to keep this in mind. The Lord, He ain't gonna put us in no position of difficulty in which we can't handle. You know, instead of having the mindset, you know, of feeling sorry for yourself or asking, well, why me? Instead of having those thoughts, keep it always in mind that instead of asking why, have it in the mindset of, this is what the Most High wants me to get through, and I'm gonna get through it because I know by faith that He's gonna make a way for me to escape it, and that I'll be able to bear it. You know, and that's where your faith, your trust, your belief is gonna come in. You know. And through the weakness in which we sometimes suffer, that's where we're made strong, brothers. That's where we're being fortified. You know, we're being tried through the fire. We're that gold going through the fire, man, to be purified. You know, we must go through that straight gate. And also keep in mind of the opposition. You know, keep in mind of the fight. You know, and the Apostle Paul, he always, you know, in the book of Ephesians, you know, he goes into very heavily of what we got to fight and what we got to do to be in the fight still. This is Ephesians 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. And it says, put on the whole armor of the Heavenly Father, which is this word, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, wiles meaning the trickery and the things in which Satan may throw your way. And it says, For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So Paul saying, look, man, this ain't no, we ain't fighting, we ain't throwing them hands, you know. You know, Jake, you know, nigga, you know, Jake's, you know, he'd be like, nigga, I'm good with my hands, you know. This ain't no, you know, this ain't no carnal fight, man. This is not a flesh and blood battle, okay? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, meaning a hierarchy of demons in which we all battle. Against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That there is the fight. That is our opponent. You know, that's the opposition. You know. Verse 13, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the heavenly Father, that ye may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Everything that may come toward your way, brothers. We be able to quench. We got to be able to quench all those fiery darts. Take the shield of faith. Have that armor, the helmet, the breastplate, you know, the girdle, the buckler. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. See? You know, that's the path. You know, this is the path. You know, although there's times where this truth is sweet, we also have to be able to take the bitter. And taking the bitter and being able to keep on moving on, you know. We got to be able to, you know, because the truth gonna hit us sometimes, you know. That's why you see some men fall out. You know, they get hit so hard to where they're not able to get back up. You know, they're not able to, you know, gird up thy loins like a man, you know. You know, and that just so happened to be their lot, you know. But you know, sometimes it's gonna hit hard, and it's not about, like, you got that saying. It's about how, you know, how does it go? I remember I seen it in a movie. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. You know, how much you can take and keep on moving forward. You know, that's how victory is done. That's how winning is accomplished, by you being able to continue to forge on and keep on moving forward, no matter what may come your way. You know, and that's why you have to pray, you know, to the Most High to keep you resolute, man. You know, when all around seems lost, and to also praying to also praying in your prayers, in your supplication to the Heavenly Father, the Most High, Yahweh Shema Shai, to give you the strength to take on anyone or anything that may come in your path, you know. But we have to be willing to take those hits, you know, and to not, you know, pointing your fingers, you know, or nothing like that. Just continue to fight that fight, to finish the race, to keep the faith all the way to the bitter end, no matter what. You know, strive for the truth, even unto the death, so that our power may fight for us, because He's going to be our guide even unto the death, you know. Check the comma board. All right, so you know, through the Spirit, that's all that I had. You know, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. And I hope and I pray that this lesson was edifying, exhorting, and comforting. As always, I want to give all the praises, honor, and the glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem HaKakwadash. Give honor to the apostles and unto the elders of Great Millstone, GMS, for telling me this truth, and honors to the brethren in the Akim that's been pushing out this truth with all sincerity and in faith. And to Wadi Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for allowing me to come back with another lesson. And it's on to the next one, brothers, and I'm about to hit these highways and hedges in the next 20 minutes or so. So until the next time I say shalom.
Now, Trinity.
Morpheus. The Oracle. She told me I
Told you exactly what you needed to hear. That's all. Neo, sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
Shalom.